Hello guys, welcome to late Friday night's Banter Blitz. Today I'm not going to be here for a long time, so probably 90 minutes, maybe a bit more. So let's get right to playing. And I want to start with the game against James Harden. So we didn't have a chance to play last time, and I think it will be fair if we will start with this one. Moreover, I don't have a lot of challenges right now, and I'm on these challenges. Actually, the challenge from Harden is exactly the challenge from the guy I've never played before, so I will accept. And as usual, wanted to ask about the quality of the stream, but Giovanni already said that stream is okay. Great. So accepting James Harden's challenge. And I'm playing with white pieces. Let's go. E4. E4, my favorite move. C5, Sicilian. It's gonna be interesting. And knight c6, probably intending to play... what? To play dragon. Alright, one of possible choices here. After knight takes d4, let's play my favorite move, knight to b3. So, we play positional chess. No attacks, nothing. Just improving positions of the pieces and preparing central play. So usually I put the knight on d5 here. And since the knight went away, why not? Let's do it. Because after e6, d6 becomes vulnerable, which means I will probably have some chances simply attacking it. But looks like my opponent is well prepared. Knight to c5. Alright, what to do now? Taking on c5 is obviously very boring to start with. And it probably doesn't give me anything at all. But I can try it, of course. Then just c3, limiting the bishop, g7, and the knight on c6. Trying to exploit black's weaknesses a bit later. You know, if I play knight c4, I'm afraid that there will be knight takes c4 followed by d5. No very pleasant thing, but also playable position. If I play something like knight to g4 now, well, after h5 it's not clear where to go, because after knight h6, king h7 it is just trapped. So e4 is hanging. Alright, let's take it. And play c3. As simple as that. And I wanted actually to undermine this pawn to grab c4 square, if it is possible. But black can play c4 himself. On the other hand, it loses the pawn, because rook on a8 is not protected. Alright. Knight to e5. Now I can take on c4. So c4 was overambitious, I must admit. Just overambitious. I understand it was very tempting, of course, but... well... everything is just hanging here. Alright, now I can take on a6 if I want. So I will have advanced passed pawn. I can also simply protect e4 pawn, which is also good enough. No, let's take on a6. Because in this case, I can probably even play rook to e1. Fuxia asks, how did it end for you yesterday, Andrey? Actually, I finished second among title players, so probably won a prize. So the game started not that bad actually for black, but then c4 was the start of the series of just blunders. So I'm just collecting pieces one by one, taking everything what is hanging. Right. Okay. So now it's important not to blunder something. Connected with rook f2 check. For that, I'll probably just put my bishop on e3 next move. Rook f6. First move with the bishop. Bishop goes to g5. Question from current students: how did untitled players end up in first few places? I think it is about pairings. So probably untitled are mainly paired with untitled players, while titled players are titled with titled players. I guess that is the reason. Sometimes, well, there is a mixed pairing, of course, because I played a lot of untitled players, but probably this type of pairing is preferred, I guess. I'm not sure. I can actually raise this question, but who knows? All right, so black basically made this great mistake playing c4 here. So instead of playing c4, I think it was better to try b4, attacking my c3, and I hardly think that white has anything. So, probably I can play something like queen c2 or maybe queen b3, but all this looks not very convincing to me. Of course, I have c4 square now for my knight, which is nice, but black has some counterplay for sure, and I think it will be just enough, just sufficient to compensate the weakness of c4. So it should be just balanced position. c4, well, it's clear. After that, I just start grabbing the material and so forth. All right, let's go. Our next opponent will be, so here is the Ogen Sora, but man, you're not a premium user, and I play only against premium users here. Since we don't have a lot of challenges, I will just take them one by one, except the challenge from Antons. I lost last time, so it's necessary to try something to improve the results this time. And another opening, so Alekhine defense or Alekhine defense. g6, so bishop c4 I usually play. f7 is under attack. All right, this is the main line. Now bishop g5, c3, bishop f6, and black started thinking. That is strange, because taking on f6 looks like the only option, the only playable option at least. Maybe castling is also possible. I don't remember actually what is the move here. It may basically lead to same things here, I think. Castling is probably the main move, yeah. Alright, gonna take on g7, or maybe I can take on e5 now with the pawn. But in that case, after knight c6, it will be quite hard for me to protect the pawn on e5. So I guess, anyway, I should capture here, queen f6 check. And we have a transposition to the main line. Or maybe it is the main line, I don't remember actually. So we end up in this ending, which is considered equal, which is considered balanced, but I still like white's position more. Okay, a5. a5. I probably should stop this pawn. I probably should stop this pawn. Let's stop it. Question from Crowning Student. Why exchange queens when black has dark squared weaknesses? Because if I don't exchange queens, black wins my pawn on e5. There is no checkmate. It's actually proven many years ago. There is no attack there. It only looks very weak, but in fact black has enough resources to protect the king, and white ends up just down the material with no compensation for it. So bishop d7 now. Probably I no longer have a chance to castle alone after I played a4, so let's just keep developing pieces. Okay, bishop c6. Probably I should keep my king here, or maybe just castle short, in fact, because we still have a lot of pieces on the board. I'm not sure that everything will be fine with the king. So let's castle instead. Knight d7 and f4, protecting the pawn. King g7. Not so simple to understand what to do in this position, in fact, because everything is under control. So let's try to come up with some general ideas. So first of all, I want to cover e3 square, because knight e5 is coming or something like that, and should be useful. Also protecting the knight. So maybe now, no, if now I move my knight somewhere from d2, there is bishop e4 followed by knight c5. This is a 9. So maybe it makes sense to try, I don't know, bishop c2, then knight f3, knight d4, something like this. Not necessarily gives me anything, but want to try. Also, additional ideas to play b4. Right now, or maybe a bit later, we will see. f6. Let's take. Now if I take on f6, then rook d2 is possible. Also, f4 is a bit vulnerable, so maybe it makes sense for me to do what? To try g3 move, like protect an f4 in advance. Now I'm ready to move the knight if I want at some point. e5. Black plays aggressive chess. Very interesting. Okay, what if I just take? I'm not so sure what was the idea behind it. Very strange. Looks like just a sacrifice of the pawn for unclear compensation. Or maybe there is a compensation. I just don't see it. Okay, let's try this. I'm very slow. That's my problem. I'm very slow. That's my problem. My opponent is quite fast in making decisions. And everything works just fine. That's amazing. And he plays like a monster. I mean, only 1 minute left. Spent. Okay, 2 minutes spent, but look at this. Everything works just perfect, more or less. Amazing stuff. Just amazing stuff. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna lose this one again. I think. Have a feeling of that. Yeah, I'm losing it now. I'm just losing it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there is nothing after king g5. Like, yeah, it's time to resign. All right, so was interested in position after the opening. So probably after a5, I shouldn't play a4. I guess that was my mistake, because after that it's quite hard to coordinate the pieces. So it was better just to avoid it. Maybe to play knight d2, a4, bishop c2, and then to castle. I had a game actually over the board against Grandmaster Bortnik. I managed to win the game, and as far as I remember, I didn't play a4 there. But, well, don't know. For Blitz, it's quite hard. So this sort of lines actually requires great preparation to play it good in Blitz, because, well, black makes a lot of natural moves without much thinking. So all these maneuvers like bishop d7, c6, knight d7 are quite natural. They are well known and so forth. All right. Not that great. Not that great. Here we go. Next is Graf von Palen. Accept. Another Sicilian. Another Sicilian. This time classic one. I was not trying to castle long, although it looks like that, but in fact we have a transposition to one of the lines that I love to play as white against d6, a6 Sicilian. Bishop d7. Let's play king h1. Just preparing f4, knight g4, bishop g1. So black had a chance to grab my dark squared bishop, by the way, but didn't do that. In this case, I'm not going to give it up. That's the point. All right, e5 actually opens diagonal a2, g8. Something that I wanted to achieve, more or less. So should I take on e5 and play knight f5 or knight f5 immediately? I'm going to take. Here first, and then knight f5. So the point I want to take with the rook, actually, to have the f-file open. Because my long-term plan is to attack f7. And open f-file should be helpful in this sense. G6, another weakening of the position. I'm not sure it is good. Maybe it's not critical though, but looks like a pleasant inclusion. Pleasant for white, I mean. So of course at some point my bishop should come back to the game. I mean dark squared one, because at the moment it does not that much on g1, but well, there are a lot of different ideas how to bring it back. So through e3, through d4 maybe, and so forth. Okay, now goes to d7, giving me a chance to exploit d5 square, but I'm not sure if I have a chance to do that right now. So we're playing knight d5, now goes to c5. I'm not sure I achieve anything serious there. On the other hand, knight c5 may be just an unpleasant threat. At the moment, it's not, actually, so I can probably bring the rook to d1. I guess it shouldn't be that bad idea. So later on, maybe I will have some interesting things connected with bishop d4 and just creating a threat of taking on e5. For now, I want to put my bishop on d5, just attacking b7. Everything looks protected for now. Maybe I have a sort of taking on c5, taking on b7, maybe not. At least this pawn is under pressure, so black has to think about it. Queen goes to c7, protecting b7. Okay. Now, I should do something with this knight e5. This knight e5 is really annoying. So it covers f7. Maybe it's a good idea just to exchange it for the bishop. So, I mean, let's imagine bishop d4, bishop e5, and pawn takes. I will have typical play against f7. I will just double or triple my heavy pieces along the f-file and grab this f7 eventually. Probably not, because of king g7 and f6, it's not that clear in general. Maybe I should try bishop e3, bishop h6. Also not that clear. No. I'm going to put my bishop on d4, in fact. So let it be there, just having this bishop e5 option. Then I'm probably going to double my rooks along the f-file, and then we'll see. Knight e6 is a good option, I think. What about bishop e5, d5, and rook f7, though? Rook takes f7, bishop takes e6, and I will have extra material. If king takes f7, bishop takes e6, king takes e6, looks very dangerous for black, but it feels like black is okay anyway, more or less. So maybe there is nothing. What about bishop e5, d5, bishop e6, f6, and something like queen g4 just attacking e6? Can it be anything pleasant for white, anything promising? I'm not sure, because of queen c4. So what? There is nothing. There is nothing. On the other hand, I have no time, so I have to make a decision quickly. So I'm going to take and play g3, just covering f4 square. I know it looks terrible, and I don't really like this. But I'm somehow finding myself in the time trouble in each and every game. So I have to do something with this, but for now, I'm just playing very, very slow. So at least I have a clear plan now, just exerting pressure on f7. Okay, let's take this one. Play this. Probably b4 was much better. After b4, I think. Maybe I still had rook to f1. Should be examined after the game. Now I think I'm doing well. Looks like a pawn, at least. And this knight on d5 is very nice as well. So let's include this one. Just creating a sort of taking several times on f7, then on h7. And also knight f6 is a threat now, by the way. Nice pin. Nice pin. So instead of bishop c5, I guess just b4. I'm not sure what to do here. Maybe I can still play this move. I don't know. Let's see. So bc3, rook f7, creating a bunch of threats. So probably rook f7 is more or less forced. Then I take with the rook. Yeah, you know, it may be dangerous. Let's say king h8. I have queen h3. There are no checks, so my king is absolutely safe. h7 is under attack. Maybe h5 should be played. And great question if I have enough time to continue the attack, because there is already a sort of cb2 and b1 queen. I'm not so sure, but there is also rook e7 resource. If queen takes c7, I just take here. It's clear that it's very good for white. But after rook takes e7, there is also a resource c takes b2. Very annoying one. And I think black is actually winning here. Because if I take on c7, there is just b1 queen check, forcing the king here, and then rook takes c7, white can resign easily. So yeah, after rook e7, black just takes on b2 and it's lost. Simply lost for white. I cannot see a good move for white. Absolutely. There is simply no move. b1 is here already. Yeah, so I think it's just a very bad position. So probably rook f1 doesn't work, which means... Oh, maybe I can start with rook takes f7. Another idea. But then rook f7, rook f1, rook f8, I think black has enough defenses. Alright, so not clear if I have anything here against f7. If I don't, I have to move my knight away, but then you just take on c2. So let's say if I do not play knight to b1, let's imagine. You just take on c2 with your knight, and the point that after this you have this move. And I'm not sure that rook f7 gives me anything in this case. So let's say just rook takes f7, so what? Rook f7, knight takes g2, rook e7, king goes to f8, rook c7, king g2. Okay, I think here white can be only worse. After accurate rook to c1, I think black wins the minor piece, because if bishop a2, then there is check, and rook b2, it's over. And if, for example, knight to d2, then rook c2, beating the knight and winning the game. So, as we may notice, this line doesn't quite work. If I play knight to e2, it's also very, very bad position. I mean, probably the same. Knight c2 looks great. Something else can be also promising. I don't know. I don't believe in white's position anymore, actually. So this position looks just bad. I probably missed something here, so I started playing very bad moves, somewhere starting from rook d1, I think. I had a feeling that I'm just losing the thread. So, most likely, I should have played something connected with the knight to d5, in fact. So, trying to weaken position even more. Or maybe something connected with quick doubling rooks along the f-file, instead of playing rook to d1, because rook on d1 does nothing, actually. Absolutely nothing. So something like maybe even immediate rook f2 can be interesting. So rook f2, knight c5, let's say bishop d5. Then I play rook to f1, already exerting some pressure on f7. And the next plan is something like h3, bishop h2. And white should be slightly better, I guess. So, yeah. Missed the point, was almost punished, but bishop c5 happened, and bishop c5 was bad. Next one, Sebi. e4. Okay, let's play e5. As far as I remember, Sebi started playing Ruy Lopez, yeah. Here's Rui Lopez. Bishop c5 is also interesting and playable option here. Don GK. Hello, hello. Typical maneuvers. Now I'm ready for many different things, including g6, bishop g7, knight a5 followed by c5. After d4, we have sort of transposition to Smyslov, but without h3 played. So maybe I can use it somehow by playing bishop g4 now. Does it make sense to play bishop g4? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Does it really create a threat or not? Well, let's check if it works. So in many cases, white tries to play h3, in fact, and to prevent bishop g4. So to avoid this pressure in the center, because now, of course, white can play d5 if he wants, but this defines the pawn structure, which is not necessarily that great. So usually white wants to keep this tension in the center for a long time. But it doesn't mean it is not playable. It is also something that looks quite normal. Okay, now I want to undermine the pawn. d6, knight c6. And h3 played. Right, since I have the pawn on h6, I think it's natural to retreat to e6 square. And now we have a pawn structure which reminds me of Najdorf. Difference is that knight is not on c3 but on g3, and the pawn is not on c2 but on c3. But all the ideas from there, from Najdorf, can be probably applied more or less to this position. Same weakened d5 square, same ideas connected with the minority attack on the queen side. I mean, having pawns on a5 and b5, black can consider playing b4. Maybe b4 even immediately, but in my opinion it's better to recapture with the pawn in that case, to have a2 as an object of attack. Also d6, d5 is something that black usually happy to do if, of course, light squares are not terribly weakened after that, and everything is fine with e5. Because d5 is double-edged, of course, it is the move that makes black's position slightly better in a sense of space, but at the same time it opens diagonal b1 h7 and makes bishop c2 quite active. So it depends. Usually when I have such a pawn structure, I try not to play d5 too fast. I'm trying to prepare everything carefully, and only then, when I feel like I'm ready, I do that. Okay, bishop to b3. There are many options. I'm more or less tempted to try knight to a5 here. Just force on bishop e6, then rook e6, and then my knight can go to c4. Typical Sicilian square, and since I already told you that we have very typical Sicilian pawn structure, it's still a good square for the knight, potentially, a good outpost. So should I do this or not? Another idea is just to try d5 right now, because it feels like I'm slightly better developed, so this play in the center should be justified. It's hard to tell what is more promising. If I will have the knight on d5, I think it will be good. So let's try d5. Feels like an option. And now to take with the queen or to take with the knight? I think with the knight. Cannot explain why. It's just a feeling that exchange of queens may slightly help white, and my pawns will be slightly more vulnerable on the queen side without queens. So queen is usually a good defender here. On the other hand, if I take with the queen, it is also possible for white to just go away with the on queen, and my queen on d5 is a bit misplaced, so not a good square for it. a4. Undermining b5 now. Let's try b4. It is a double-edged thing, of course, because white can play c4, obtaining this passed pawn. On the other hand, I have a feeling that after, let's say, knight to b6, there may be a problem with the b3 pawn. What if I just take on d1 now and say play knight to a5? Does it make sense or not? A bit later, I will also have something like knight d7, knight c5 maneuver attacking this pawn additionally. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe not. Yeah, bishop e3 is a good inclusion for sure. Yeah, I'm super slow. I'm super slow tonight. So let's protect the knight. Don't see a better option at the moment. Yeah, now white's position looks just gorgeous. I think rook b1 was even better, to be honest, because now I have this maneuver, knight d7, knight c5. After rook b1, I didn't see a good option. I didn't see a good option for black at all. Might have been very, very bad position for black. Now I guess I have some chances. Alright, knight c5. Bishop c5 was better again, just a strange decision. Knight f6 is a threat. Well, taking with the knight was better again. Regaining that threat again might have been just very bad for me. Now I think I have some play. Now looks very promising for black. Unless I lose on time, which may easily happen. Oops. Super blunder. Wow. I'm so stupid. But he doesn't take. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't see. There was hanging. Checkmate, or what is this? Yeah, it's a checkmate. It's a checkmate, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I was super lucky here. I was super lucky here. So position after I played f4 was so lost. Oh my god. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, very strange, very strange. Maybe it was super generous gesture, to know. But of course, after g4, I have to take on h3. f4 was just, yeah, momentary lapse of reason. So rook takes h3, and black has some good chances after king e5, I think. But also, after some accurate moves, I think everything should be fine, more or less, for white. But, well, the king is quite active here, so, I mean, maybe there are still some problems for white. Maybe. But, yeah, this position was misplayed so many times, I mean, by both players. So, first of all, this absolutely idiotic idea of taking on d1 and playing knight to a5. That was just not in time. And instead of doing it, of course, I should have immediately played something like bishop c5 or knight to d7, I think. Trying to get to c5, in fact, because that is the main maneuver here. This knight is just very bad here on b6. And if I don't have enough resources, and the game proved that I didn't, I may never ever get to c5 in such a situation. So starting with the b4, of course, it's questionable decision. But okay, let's say I already played b4. Knight d7, knight c5 should be played here. 100%. Maybe something like e4 also deserves attention here. Immediately or after taking on d1. So queen d1, rook d1. I just played this quickly. Knight to a5, but e4. Why not e4? That's a good question. Just forcing the knight somewhere to ugly position, because if knight gets to d4, there is probably this tempo operation. Takes, bishop c5. Also not that much, of course, but looks interesting because e3 is something. Probably just rook to d8 and so on. So have no idea. Probably something like knight d7 should be played here. So my play was just stupid. So I played knight to a5 here, bishop e3, great move, just intermediate attack of the knight. So I thought of taking on b3 even here. So bishop b6, knight takes, rook takes. So I was trying to evaluate this position, and I wasn't sure. Maybe it was my best option, actually. So now I look at this position and think that this pawn on b4 is too strong to ignore it. So maybe I have some counterplay. Maybe rook b8 is not the best move because it drops e5. So probably I should start with protecting this e5. Or maybe even attacking c4, so something like rook c8 instead of rook b8. And who knows, maybe all these pieces are quite good here. I mean, because of this pawn on b4, maybe not. So right, I played rook to b8, and after that, I guess just rook to b1. Yeah, it looks a bit passive, but what black can do here? I'm not sure that there is a good move. I don't even see the idea how to improve the position here, because knight d7 isn't possible. There is a sort of c5, by the way. So that was accidental, sorry. So there is a sort of c5. I mean, if I play this, just intending to play knight to d7, I'm not sure it works, so probably just c5. Knight is forced to d7. Fortunately, I control c6 square here with the knight. But something like, okay, knight to e4 looks very interesting, followed by knight to d6. Or maybe even knight to f5 with this. No, knight f5 drops the pawn, sorry. So interesting. Maybe not even c5. I mean, maybe knight f5 or knight e4 immediately. Yeah, I guess knight f5 is very strong here. With a very simple idea of playing knight to d6, grabbing my bishop, and continuing the attack. I cannot even play g6 here. Not because of knight h6, which is probably playable after king g7 or king h7, and then king g7 probably, and then f5 or something, but simple knight d6, bishop d6, rook takes d6 looks just terrible for black. So all these guys on the queen side are completely misplaced. This pawn drops now, or this drops, or this drops. So something drops for sure, because black has a position full of weaknesses, full of holes. So I guess rook b1 was very strong here. Okay, knight d2 gave me a chance at least. So I played knight to d7, preparing knight to c5. f3 was played. I played knight c5. Stupid move again because it was necessary to exchange this bishop. So bishop to c5 was good instead. So bishop c5, let's say I just take on c5, attacking the pawn, and after rook b1, let's say I can play probably just rook to d8. This or another one, I don't know. And this position already looks quite pleasant for black. So I have a concrete object of attack. And, well, there are some maneuvers like knight e6, knight e4 if necessary. So it looks like my pieces are better now. Yeah, so without that bishop for sure, it could have been much easier to play. So another mistake, knight to c5. He played rook b1, I played g6, another terrible move, absolutely accomplishing nothing. So rook d8 was necessary. But you played knight e4, very strong. Knight takes e4, and now instead of f e4, just knight e4. And again, I have the same problem. It's just terrible position. There is a threat of knight f6, knight d6, something connected with c5 square as well. Rook to d5 is a threat. I hate this position. So supported, protected, passed pawn on c4. Lots of vulnerabilities, absolutely misplaced pieces. Nothing to discuss. White is much better here. After f e4, I think black is already fine. And the rest of the game was just a severe time trouble with multiple mistakes from both sides, unfortunately. All right, thank you for the game. So Karmic Student told me to check if there are some guys I've never replayed before. So let's have a look. Probably there are some. So let me check. Let me check. Copperpot from Spain. Never played before, but 3 minutes. All right, let's try this, just for some sort of diversity. But usually I prefer playing 5 minutes because I can explain more. This guy has higher rating than me, so will be hard. Of course, if the game is supposed to start. Come on. Copperpot. Here we are. Waiting for you. Okay, feels like he's not gonna play. Probably he's not even watching the show. Maybe that was just a challenge. All right. No questions. What the hell is going on? Why? Yeah. Antha from Germany. Never played before. So let's accept. Okay, e4. d5, immediate reaction. So it's the sign that the guy is watching the show. Let us go. Attack. Attack. Bishop g6. Let us go. My play is pretty straightforward. And queen to c7 is a very strange move. Very strange one. Now I can play h5. I'll grab the bishop. Now I have pair of bishops. Also, I have this very good move. Queen to f3, attacking the knight. And attacking f7 at the same time. Of course, if knight goes to f6, then I have g5. Queen a5 check is something that looks like a waste of time. Because I'm not really against of playing c3 here, but I want to check if I can play b4. Queen b4, c3. No, queen takes c3. There is nothing, so probably c3 should be played. And knight to d6, yeah, it's much better than playing knight to f6 because g5 wins. So, after knight to d6, it's very tempting to try to deflect this knight somehow, but I'm not sure I have an immediate solution. So, knight f7, bishop c4, knight just comes back to d6. There is nothing. What to do instead? Maybe just g5, g6 looks very simple and probably quite efficient way of playing it. Also bringing the bishop to c4 looks interesting. b4 looks like a move. Almost every move that white can imagine in this position looks just very promising. Let's try g5. f6. Wow. Weakens a lot. So, no. Let's play knight to c4. I mean, if knight c4, bishop c4, I'm happy to see that position. Or queen c7. So it's definitely something wrong because queen just goes a5, c7, a5, c7. So just wasting the time, giving me a lot of different resources. So let's play bishop f4 now, just almost completing the development and creating some new threats. It cannot be good. I mean, cannot be good. Because black is just underdeveloped. Instead of completing a development, black actually opens up a position. What about just taking here? Then giving a check. And then castling. Next move. You can probably just win a piece here easily. So let's say f4. Why not f4? Yeah, it's lost for black now. check. One more check. And one more piece will be captured. But here's queen g5. This piece will be regained. But the one is still here. I mean, still should be winning. Queen g3, what is this threat? Not quite sure, but I have to be simply faster because I have no time. I completely missed this move, which tells you something about my current shape. Oh, there is a perpetual. What is this? This is amazing. Look at this. I cannot even imagine how is it possible to play like this. I mean, it's just no. I'm definitely very bad tonight. Look at this. I'm just playing complete bullshit. I don't understand that. So, okay, queen g3. I didn't even realize that there is a threat of rook e1. I thought, what's the move? Queen g3 and so on. Here's rook e1 and perpetual check. Great idea, by the way. Great save. Of course, position is absolutely winning. So, just play any move. I mean, queen g8. King here, let's say one more check. I didn't even see that I have queen c8 here. And it's over. Very close to over, like queen d8. And oh. Yeah. I didn't deserve even a draw with such a play. And of course, black's mistakes I explained during the game. So playing here and there with the queen during the opening stage should be punished somehow. But I didn't. Okay, I was very close to punish it, but my opponent didn't actually do that. Oh, Knight Killer. Let's play Knight Killer. French. You have no idea. Let's play e5. I mean, it doesn't really matter what to play tonight because I'm playing very bad. So let's play at least something that looks quite simple to play. I used to play this line when I was a kid. So I can make, I mean, a lot of moves without much thinking here. All right. Bishop a4. Yes, bishop a4. Typical idea for these positions, but not necessarily that cool. Okay, bishop will be on b3, which is not very dangerous. Let it be there. I mean, okay. So our plan is just to play here. f4, f5, and so on. So let's do it, and let's do it quick. I just checked if the stream is still okay because there are some strange comments on chat. Bishop e7. Alright, so just apply a 5 or to come back with the knight. It's better probably to avoid the damage of the pawn structure, but the thing is, I'm not sure that it is a big damage. But anyway. So the main point behind playing knight h4 was actually to prepare f4. So f4 is played, knight can go back. Stream is fine. Okay. So now what? Just f5 immediately, I think. And g4 was also interesting, but it looks tempting to actually complete a development this way. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe I should have played actually g4 and f5 with the pawn. I mean, capturing with the pawn if black takes. Well, in any case, this position looks quite interesting. And well, I have a chance to play e6. Maybe it's just a provocation. I don't know. King a8 was a move, but after e6, bishop d6 most likely, right? Maybe I'm not that prepared for that, so I'll castle first. Knight e7, still ignoring e6. Okay. I'm not that against. g6. And now e6 looks like just the most natural reaction. Just to grab on f7 and bishop e5 is a threat, so it should be something for me. Let's play it. Or maybe just knight e5. I'm not so sure what is better for me, knight e5 or what. Knight e5 looks like an option. Cannot be a bad idea, actually. I just attack a lot. Okay, f5. Let's just take here. Knight f7 was also great, but in that case g5 was possible. I think this position should be absolutely winning. Now I have a sort of e7, sort of bishop takes f5, so these two pawns should be even better than extra exchange, I guess. And this bishop on b3, as I said, it's not necessarily that big achievement for black, so it's quite useless there. I'm still thinking about the previous game. That was just so Patzerish. Not to win with the extra minor piece. Oh my goodness. It's like, I don't even know how to compare it. So what to compare it to. So oh my goodness. Queen to c7. All right, I can get back basically with the bishop. To take or not to take? I think I can take it. Or maybe it's better just to centralize everything first. Then take, then queen e5, so on, so forth. Like this. Compare it to catastrophe. Suggestion. No, it wasn't a catastrophe. Catastrophe, it is something when you do something similar over the board during a important tournament. That is a catastrophe. That was just, stupid thing done. Square f7. Check. And checkmate next move. Okay. So, Black's main mistake was just doing nothing, actually. So, I prepared gradually my play on the king side. Black should basically do the same on the queen side. And I'm not sure that knight b3 so early is just a great thing to do. So, usually what happens here, Black maneuvers the knight through c8 to b6. So, let's say h5, h6. That was all right. After g3, for example, just knight to e7, and then knight to c8, queen to c7, knight goes to b6, then bishop a4, maybe bishop c2, and the bishop gets to h7. Basically, that is what Black wants to achieve. Let's have a look. So let's say a castle, queen c7, knight h4, knight b6, something like f4, and after bishop a4, queen here, well, something like bishop c2. Looks great. That is the idea, to activate the bishop, not to put it on b3 where it is stupid, in fact, doing nothing, but to activate it, so to have this diagonal and this square d3. Okay? So, of course, maybe it's possible to improve White's play, I believe. But that is the idea. On b3, the bishop is not necessarily that great. I mean, after all this, you saw. So, if I control c2 square, it's not possible to activate it through c2, which means that, well, it only looks nice at first glance, but in fact it's not that better if compared to d7 position. So on d7 it would be even slightly better because it will control f5. So their bishop at least does some useful work. Here it does absolutely nothing. So completely useless piece. All right. Next one is Kramnik student, accept. And this is gonna be beaten, I think, because I'm playing like an idiot tonight. And Kramnik student is very strong. So he's gonna win this position, I believe. So now I can basically take d5 to come up with this pawn structure. I can simply castle. I think I will castle first, then we will see what to do. And now I guess this deserves attention. Just knight e4, cd4, d5, or knight e4, cd4, knight e4, knight e4, d5. Should be just a comfortable equality for Black, more or less. Right? Right. That's why Jose says, if you don't believe in yourself, this most probably will happen. Well, you can never tell if I believe in myself or not. I mean, what I said about the probable result of this game was like a sarcasm. mainly. But it doesn't mean it cannot happen. Of course it can. So now we have a typical position with the isolated queen pawn. Black has no problems, I believe. So white is slightly better developed. White has slightly more active pieces at the moment. But long term it should be not that dangerous, I guess. So my task here is just to neutralize the light squared bishop. To do something with this centralized knight e4. Let's start with the bishop f5. I want to check where the knight goes. Knight goes to c3. Now I wanted to play this. Why not bishop e6 immediately? Because in that case, knight could have jumped to c5, I guess. After knight c3, okay. Bishop e6 is completely safe option. And yeah, I had a concrete threat of just taking on c3 and taking on c4. And white prevented it. Now it's a good question, how to improve the position. So bishop f6 looks natural move. Let's try it. I just attack d4. If I take on d4, there is bishop takes h7. So probably my opponent wants me to protect this square. But first, I want to try rook e8. So, main problem for white is just to understand what to do with the dark squared bishop, because the knight on d5 actually limits the activity of this guy seriously. Bishop e3 is kind of solution of this problem, but it doesn't mean it is a great thing. Maybe I can even consider taking the bishop and trying to prove my bishops are good. In that case, however, white will capture with the pawn, and pawn d4 will be protected, but, well, the pawn on e3 will be quite vulnerable. c5 is not an option, I guess. Knight e4 is prepared. That is the main threat now. So knight is going to go to e4 and then to c5. So I have to do something with this. That's why I want to take and just play g6. Preparing g7 position for my bishop, from where it can go to h6 if necessary, just exerting pressure on e3, so on and so forth. So many ideas. But in this situation, I'm going to try bishop g5 even. So now, what if I just play bishop to b3? Is it possible? That should be interesting. I'll just attack e3. No, I guess I can play f5. This solves the problem of f7 square, so it's no longer hanging there, so my bishop is slightly more mobile, and at the same time it controls e4 additionally. So let's make several moves that make my position slightly more solid, but queen d7 is definitely not one of them. I should have played something. I'm not sure what I should have played. Maybe bishop h6 to start with. e4. Very optimistic play. Very optimistic play. So what about bishop d2? Where the rook goes to e2. Take on d4, takes f5. Wow, position is very complicated there. Position is very complicated. Well, I don't know. Let's take here. Let's take there. And now just rook f8, pinning the pawn for some time. And that is what I expected, actually. Many moves ago, I saw that idea. Bishops are bishops. But probably I don't achieve a lot anyway. So can I play this? Could have captured, of course, and captured on f5, but looks like this is a nice pressure. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe not. I don't know. Bishop g5 now. Bishop c1 is my threat, as well as taking on f5. So a lot of different ideas here. Okay, now let's go for that pawn. My bishops are just very strong. Very strong bishops. Of course, it's important not to blunder. It's important not to blunder. b2. Here we go. Yeah. One on time, and already this position is, of course, much better for black. Was just a time trouble where my opponent started misplaying the position. Of course, everything, almost everything before, which was played before this time trouble, was quite decent. Okay, maybe this bishop e3 isn't a good idea, and after bishop f5, I would suggest playing knight to c5, actually. So this looks like a good position for the knight here, because if I play b6, all right, I weaken c6 pawn, and you can potentially use it somehow. If I don't play b6, I have to protect it somehow, because I don't want to take on c5. This is awful. I mean, probably it's also playable, but it's great for you. So b6, probably then knight goes to d3, and then maybe even to e5. So basically you want to knight on e5, because knight on e5 exerts the pressure on f7. This is your main target in this position, long term, I mean. So knight c5 deserves serious attention. I mean, after knight c3, I think black is already fine, completely. So now white is struggling to find good squares for his pieces. And after some moves, actually, I had no problems. Maybe here I just made a mistake. I don't know. Even knight to c3 was interesting here. I mean, takes, queen a5. I have slightly better pawn structure. Okay, you no longer have the isolated pawn, but you have this one, which is separated from the rest of the pawns. I can then continue with something like rook d8, c5 at some point. You can also think of occupying c4. But even knight takes e3 is correct, I think. So, takes. Now, pair of bishops, this vulnerability on e3. You know, maybe I just played super calm chess series, or maybe g6 and bishop g7 is not in the spirit of this position. probably it was better for me to find a good square for bishop e6 immediately. Maybe I should have started with a c5. So typical thing in such a situation is just undermining these pawns as well. So dc5, let's say I can try simply queen c7 attacking this pawn. Then I have different ideas. So now if I manage to grab this pawn, I think I will have much better pawn structure. So even this line after, say here, queen takes, knight e4, let's say queen e7, knight f6, queen f6 looks good for black. So look, this pawn is just awful. Of course, it's not a catastrophe for white, but a really unpleasant position. I mean, okay. Let us continue. Let us continue. What do we have here? We have Marozzi. Let's play Marozzi. Let's play Marozzi. Again, 3 minutes. I should be fast. Otherwise, I will lose on time because I'm super slow tonight. Okay. So again, this not very ambitious line, as we may notice, but I still believe it is one of the best weapons against dragon if you are lazy to learn main lines. Question from Giovanni, I miss Mark, is he fine? Yeah, he is, and he will come back this Sunday. So very soon, guys, you will have a pleasure hearing him again. So at the moment, I have a stupid idea of just taking on f6 and damaging the pawn structure. It's probably not that stupid, but anyway, it looks like a beginner's chess. And another idea is, of course, to open up the e file and to have this position. And g5 is overambitious. So many dragon players, by the way, play this. So h6, g5, thinking it is active. In fact, it just creates new weaknesses, in addition to already existing ones. So e7, pawn c6 square. Now I can take on e5 and play knight c6 if I want. But what I want more here is just to play f4, gf4, bishop f4. This looks nice. Let's try this instead. I think black will regret very soon that he played this g5. All right, let's capture the knight. Now if I play f5, bishop takes d4, queen d4, bishop f5, but this is a position with opposite colored bishops. Or maybe knight c6 is better, simply. Yeah, let's play knight c6. We can basically have the same position very soon with opposing colored bishops, I guess. Or maybe it's even better to play f5 or knight e7 and then f5. I have no idea. So many nice options here for, okay. This is the best one for white, of course. Just trapping the bishop, actually. Okay. Queen goes to h5. Looks like a follow-up. Attacking h7. Now can take on d6, can take on g7, can do everything I want. Everything. I'm gonna try this one. Centralization. Intent in something like bishop d4. For example, now, is it an option? Beating the pawn and trying to deflect the bishop from g7. All right, this is nice. Should be just decisive. Rook e7 attacking the bishop and pawn h6 simultaneously. It's over. Yeah. Okay, so h6, g5. It's just too much. I mean, it is almost never a good idea for black in this position. It's over-ambitious, too aggressive, and not in the spirit of this situation. Much better is to play rook e8, protecting e7, so preventing f4, and then playing something like rook to c8, knight to c4, maybe at some point a5, a4, so normal Sicilian play. Of course, it's a bit annoying probably because you want to play active chess if you play dragon. But you should understand, if white castle's short, usually it is about some positional fight, not combinations, super activity, and so on. Okay. So, here is Edward from Romania. Let's play him. Andrea says, that was a great game. No, it was not a great game. Thank you, of course, but no. I mean, h6, g5 is just something that gives me a lot of chances. And since I played this so many times, I actually reacted quickly. e3. Right, let's play b6. Queen c2. It's a mix of Rubinstein and classic system, and now some ideas from Zemish as well. Well, very strange position. Okay, I think c5 should be an option here. Because white wanted to play something like e4. It's okay, I guess, just to prevent it, at least to try. And now, I guess, I can take on d4. And after ed4, I have a feeling this pawn will be quite vulnerable very soon. And this f3 actually grabs the natural square from the knight. I can play d5 very soon, so I don't quite understand white's approach here. It's a bit strange to me. So, what white is going to do? And I'm not sure what is going on, in fact, because ed4 looks like just the only move. On the other hand, knight b5 can be actually also played. That is probably why my opponent is thinking. ed4. All right, now I'm just cashing. And then play something like d5 and knight c6, or maybe knight c6 and d5. I don't know. Looks like either way looks great. d5 looks more natural. So let's do it. b3. Another strange decision. Now I can take on c4 and take on d4. What is going on? I don't understand. So Edward is playing not that convincing chess, just like me. But probably in this particular game, even less convincing than me. Okay, now I can take on d4, alright? Castling. That cannot be good. Maybe it's even better for me to start with knight c6. So, combining the idea of grabbing d4 pawn with completing a development. Oh, this position is just great for black. At least it should be. I guess now it's time. Bishop from d2 cannot actually go anywhere except for e1. So I'm not really afraid of move with the bishop. I mean, knight on c3 is under attack. Knight cannot move either because of queen a1. So probably I can just continue with this. I hope I don't blunder. All right, so queen a1. Isn't it good? Should be great. Now we have to find a checkmate. So bishop a3, king goes to c2. Pete, think maybe there is no checkmate. Maybe there is no checkmate. Probably there is no checkmate. So bishop on b4 is hanging. That's important thing. Important detail. So let's take on d2 simply. We shouldn't forget we have extra material after all. And now there should be something after queen e5. I mean, queen b1 was also acceptable. It feels like with such a king on c1, I should have my queen on the board. Oh, and I blundered that after bishop a3, there was knight takes a3. Oh my god. Okay, but my opponent also blundered queen takes b5. So, tragedy. Tragedy. To know where to put it now. Probably it doesn't matter. So simply extra minor piece for nothing. Wouldn't a rucksack have at least give it some fun? I think when you have such a position, you need a win, not something connected with funny stuff. All right, let's put the queen on e3. He's chasing my queen. Okay, let's hide. Okay, rook c5. Now it's time to activate the rest of pieces. To play b5 probably at some point. Every piece should be active. to accomplish something. And also, simplification should be like the general strategy. Playing like a patzer. I mean, I am playing like a patzer. Just moving pieces here and there without much plan. So what is this? Is it a play of international master? I don't think so. Okay, at least we exchanged something. Finally. Exchanged probably the most aggressive piece in the opponent's camp. Alright, we can take here another stage of simplification. Okay, there should be checkmate very soon, right? Queen f2, knight f4, finally. All right. So, opening stage was very strange, so kind of mix of ideas, queen c2, bishop b7. So I expected something like a3 after bishop b7, so that was normal in my opinion. Just not very standard to me, but absolutely normal playable move. So basically you define the situation with the bishop, but f3 is already something strange. Again, after c5, I think the only idea is to play a3 here. But this is already something that's I'm happy to see. Again, I can take on d4, take on c3, but this is playable. I mean, cd4, ab4, dc3, something like queen c3. It's positioned potentially with a slight advantage for white. So probably here I have to do what to take. But then again, you just take with the queen. So basically here position is still okay, absolutely. Only after bishop d2 it started crumbling. So I just took on d4, e4, casting. So already this position I think is quite promising for black. So this is a story. So d4 is very vulnerable. I have this very promising d5 move, knight c6 move. So it starts feeling like I'm playing with white pieces because I have sort of advantage in development and so on. And white didn't accomplish anything here with this setup. All right, I'm going to play the last game now, guys. And let it be. Kaspar student is here. Well, too many students. Okay, let's play against Frias. Argentina, 2400s plus rating. We have never played before, so I'm gonna accept it. Nikolai Pavlov, hello. I think you already saw some of my streams, right? Nikolai. I have a feeling that is not a coincidence. I mean, your name. Already saw you among my viewers. It's a d6. Let's play this. Frias, Mr. Frias. Classic Sicilian with knight c6, knight f6, d6. Very interesting and rich position. Bishop e7 castles. And Edward said that he thought about knight b5 after cd4. It is about the previous game. Yeah, maybe it deserved attention, yeah. At least it was probably not worse than cd4, you know. Okay. The same was played against Graf von Paulin, I think. Or not. I mean earlier today. Let's go. Rook c8, bishop is hanging. So now let's put it on b3. Now I want to play either f5 or e5. Of course, main plan is usually to play f5 to force black to play e5, weaken in d5 square, and then to try to occupy it at some point. But it doesn't mean that e5 makes no sense. But now we can forget about all of these things. So I guess taking makes sense. And now, where to put the bishop? Let's put it on e3 for now. Bishop e6. Probably it was better for me not to take on e5. I played all these pawn structures many times, for both colors, by the way. Sometimes it feels like it's better to do that, I mean to take on e5. Sometimes you're tempted just to go away with the bishop and to play that position with the pawn e4 against d6. So it felt like it was a correct decision, but now after bishop e6, I'm not sure. I'm no longer sure that it was that great. Okay. No time for thinking, so let's play knight d5 and see what will happen after that. Black should be okay here, of course. But who knows? Maybe my bishops will do this stuff a bit later. Queen d7. Attacking d5. So let's make this simple move. Rook to d1, just protecting it. Queen to g4 with the idea of simplification. But I don't really want to simplify a position. I don't really want to simplify it. So let's go away. Now rook f6, or it's too early? I think it's too early for this move. But e4 is coming at the same time. Have to understand that simply. That it may be late, I mean, for rook f6 at some point. I have to be very careful now. I have no time at the same time. I have no time. So let's take it. Let's try to prove there is some sort of compensation. I'm not sure that there is compensation at all. But okay, let's play this one. Have pair of bishops, pawn structure is damaged. King is not that safe. By the way, my king is also not that safe, but it's another story. Okay. This is exactly what I wanted, to bring the bishop. To the game. But now there is a real threat of playing queen h4, I guess. So probably it makes sense for me to start with this move. And then in this one. Okay. Black decided not to exchange queens, which is a bit strange to me. That was a very natural idea to eliminate maybe not all the risk, but at least a great part of it. Oops. Yeah, gorgeous blunder. Oh my god. That was in the situation when position was already quite good for white, you know. Black did everything to actually give me some play, and I just blundered like a lost putter again. So here after rook b8, I had a feeling that this is just a bad idea. I mean, to go there. So bishop g4 was a good move. Obviously, creating sort of bishop h6, regrouping the pieces, just bringing the knight to, bishop to f5, and simply starting pushing my pawns at some point. So black's pieces are misplaced, and I think white has a good compensation here for exchange. Maybe even just better chances already. I'm not sure. So bishops are quite dangerous, potentially. Quite dangerous. Especially if I bring the one to f5, I just have a sort of playing bishop h6, simply trapping the guy on g7. That was so natural move, I mean, to play bishop g4, which is really interesting. I saw that move, but I didn't play it. Okay, congratulations. So rook b2, rook h2 is really nice. Which means I want to play one more. So I hate actually finishing my shows losing games, so I'm gonna play one more. But who knows, maybe I will lose this one as well. So we'll see. Too many stupid moves from my side tonight. So usually, well, white plays h3. This is also an option, of course. To play rook to e1 here. Is there a big difference? I don't think so. So let's play h6. Anyway. PT. Just PT, you know. It was so interesting game, sacrificing the exchange, just gradually improving positions of the pieces, outplaying the opponent and then blowing everything with one stupid blunder. Hate it. I hate when I'm in such a shape, when just blundering some easy things, simple ones. That was the only black's idea actually that existed in that position, and I blundered it. Well, such an idiot. What to say? Sort of very boring main line where white has nothing, black has nothing, nobody has nothing actually, so I don't know why people play it in general. Okay, a b3 at least, not queen takes b3. Because after queen b3, it's just a super dry position. I mean, absolutely nothing to do. There was a period of time when I understood completely how to play that actually, and played that very nice. I mean, during tournament games, I somehow managed to outplay my opponents as black. But nowadays, I don't understand what to do after queen b3. What to do there? Sometimes it happens. So just play something, feel good, but at some point you just stop understanding how to play that mystical thing. So now knight to d5 is possible. The other question is, no, knight d5 is stupid because of knight h6. Come on. It's important not to blunder stupid things. That's the main idea tonight. Right, d5 is okay, I guess. But also doesn't give me a lot. And I'm not sure I'm ready. Let's come up with some preparation. So rook e6, then maybe rook to d8, and then d5. Or maybe rook e6, another rook to d8, e8, sorry, and then d5. Or maybe just d5 next move, because now rook can go to d6 after opening of the d file. Let's say, what will happen if I play d5 now? Another idea behind rook e6 is that if queen goes to f3, then there is no knight h6, because knight on f6 is protected. And in general, I think it's very important in this position to control the 6th rank. All right, now here, let's take it. Let's just take it. Is there a threat? I don't think so. So let's continue with the centralization. Or maybe there was a thread, just what to do after h4. Actually, yeah, probably it's another blunder. It's a great sign to stop the show, because it's just getting really, really bad. Game after game, move after move. I think h5 is just my only move. All right. Down a pawn. Just down a pawn. There's probably no compensation. Most likely there is no compensation whatsoever. So let's take. At least opening the d file. Maybe I will have some chances there, but again, it doesn't feel like that simply. It's just a pawn down. For nothing, absolutely. Yeah, it's just bad. All right, that was a big blunder. Just got very lucky. Just got very lucky. Of course, rook e2 and black is lost. Not lost, I mean, just much worse still. Now probably black is just winning. Of course, it's not similar to the previous game where blundered rook takes h2, but it's very close in the sense of the spirit of the blunder. So White already had a great position and somehow missed. Simple tactical thing. Yeah, there is nothing to discuss. Just winning because of a great blunder. Sorry for that. That is just, I can imagine how you perceive this. So just, yeah, couple of super stupid games, right? Just a collection of super stupid blunders, misplaying, losing on time, giving an opponent a chance to come up with a perpetual in the absolutely winning position, and so on. But at least you can learn what not to do, right? So this session is just a perfect example of how not to play chess. So look at these games and try to avoid the repetition of this bullshit, all right? This is probably the main lesson of tonight. Thanks a lot for being with me. Wish you a great weekend and see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.